All right, guys, today's video is somewhat of a rant of mine because it has to do with traffic, and I'm sure you'll understand. I was almost in a really bad accident this morning, not once, but twice, one of which I'll describe to you. But I don't want to just rant because then it's just a matter of my complaining, and then you're burdened with my complaints, and nobody benefits from it. So I want to turn it into something positive. I want to turn it into somewhat of a teachable experience. Now, I'm going to drive home, no pun intended. I'm going to drive home about 8 to 10 do's and don'ts of traffic survival. And there's a lot more that can be said, so this is not an exhaustive list. In fact, you'll probably have things that you wish I would have said. You might have a completely different list. Yours might look similar to mine in some way. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to the comment section below when you're done watching this video and put in your 2 cents worth. Put in your opinion, put in the comments what irritates you, what angers you, what sets you off faster than anything else, what annoys you, and what you do to mitigate your frustration, and words of advice that you would have for your children if they're driving. Now, I say all this because I do have 2 children of driving age, one of which is 18, the other that's 20, and these are the kind of things I tell them all the time. Now, let me get back to the accident that almost happened, okay? That's a little misleading because it really wasn't an accident, but it was narrowly missed. Now, here's what happened. We were driving along a busy highway on our way to work this morning, my wife and I, and the average rate of speed and the flow of traffic there is about 50 miles per hour, all right? And a lot of people are going a lot faster than that, I'll have to admit, but generally it's about 50 miles per hour, and we're driving toward an elementary school. It's not our destination, but we're driving in the direction of where an elementary school is coming up. And it's one that our children used to go to. Now, having said that, I also know what the signage is upon exiting the school. One of the signs that you see exiting that school is no left turns, and it's explicit. In fact, it's so bad there that sometimes they post officers out there to make sure they don't do it. It's just absolutely a horrible idea to try to take a left-hand turn, but people do it all the time. And that's what I'm leading up to. See, there was this car that completely ran a stop sign, and he turned right. That was bad enough. But the woman next to him, or right behind him, never stopped at all. She just ran right out into busy traffic, didn't stop at all, and she was trying to make a left-hand turn, and I almost T-boned her. I laid on my brakes, my tires were screeching, and I swerved around it really quick. Okay? And what frustrated me more than anything else, what frustrated me more than the infraction itself, was the look on the woman's face. And yes, I did see it because everything happens kind of in slow motion. You remember things that you think you shouldn't have remembered, even though it went by really fast. And the only explanation for it is that you saw it in somewhat of slow motion. And you know what I'm talking about. And the woman's face was just one of, I don't care. You know? That set me off so bad the rest of the morning. That's all I could think about. And I can't I can't indulge you with the kind of things I said about it after I drove away, or what I really want to do about that. But I just can't reveal that. And you can probably guess. Your imagination is probably very fertile, and you probably felt the same way before. So, you know, I drive in traffic all day long. With my job, that's what I do. I'm in traffic, you know, at least 10, 11 hours a day. You know, 8 hours on my job, but, you know, I drive back and forth to work. I take my kids different places. So I have a lot of experience driving for so many years, and I've made a lot of mistakes myself, and I've learned different things. And here's what I drive home to my children. Here's what I try to impress upon them deeply when I'm teaching them how to drive. It's certainly not a driver's manual, but these are the stuff I tell them from my experience, and I hope they adhere to because they will survive longer. Now, here they are. Here they are. First thing I would say is do increase your scope of awareness. All right? Increase your scope of awareness. When I'm teaching my kids how to drive, I tell them, always make sure you know what's going on around you, your 360. You know, you have to pay attention to your mirrors. You have to look out to the side. You can't be oblivious. And you need to always know, even if, I mean, it has to get to the point where you know where things are on a subconscious level, which is why when I almost T-boned that woman, I swerved to the left because subconsciously I must have known there was nobody immediately on my left. Okay? You have to get to that place where you are totally aware all the time. You're always looking, even though you're not consciously filing away, you're always looking and you're always aware so you can make snap decisions. I mean, within split seconds about whether you can turn a swerve left, swerve right, or stop suddenly. You know, you have to be prepared for that. So increase your scope of awareness. The other thing I would say is do maintain a safe distance. This is a no-brainer. This is common sense, but so many people don't do it. There's no point in following somebody so closely. One thing I'm really proud of my 18-year-old about is he does maintain my boy. He does maintain a safe distance from people. And I told him that you are going to decrease the chances of your being in an accident by a wide margin as long as you keep doing that. And he's very safety conscious, and I'm glad that he is. And I have a lot of faith in him regarding that. But that's not going to eliminate all safety or all dangerous situations, but it's a good start. So do maintain a safe distance. The other thing I would say is always triple check. Always triple check. When you're at a stop sign or you're at a light, make sure you look left, right, and left before you proceed. Even at lights, and not just stop signs, even at lights. Do you know, I can't count on two hands how many times that even at green lights, before I just jet off, I actually, as I'm going slowly out, I look left, right, and left, and there have been people who are running stoplights just right by me, and if I had just punched it at a green light, I could have been run over easily. I could have lost my life many times over. All right, that's Florida traffic for you. I don't know where you're from. State that in your comments, but it's that way here. I mean, you cannot take green lights if you're the first person in a line at a red light. When that light turns green, don't punch the accelerator. Just gradually go out. I mean, you don't want to be slow, but you don't want to be fast, and you do want to look left, right, left. Do your triple check. Okay? The other thing is, stop being a nice guy. Stop waving people through. Now, this right here irritates me almost more than anything else. Stop waving people out into and through traffic. Okay? You see these people who are willing to impede the flow of traffic. They don't care if they're going 35, 40, 50 miles per hour and they have a line of traffic in back of them. They see someone on the side road wanting to get out left or right. They'll stop because they want to feel good about themselves. They want to be a nice guy. They want to earn their brownie points for the day. They want to earn their rewards in heaven. And all they're doing is endangering and imperiling other drivers and even themselves. Okay? People have to stop suddenly. And then what happens is they wave them out. And this is even bad to do in slow traffic on very, very busy roads where there's multiple lanes of traffic. You know, I'm talking about 4, 5 lanes of traffic. It's bad to do it even then because what will happen is you have someone on the side and they come to a stop and they're waiting. They're saying, no, come on out. And they want to turn left or they want to go out into the far lane, the far left lane, and they can't see traffic coming behind you. You can't see traffic coming behind you. And traffic could be coming from one direction or the other, and you're telling them to come on out. You're not responsible for their safety. They are. They are. And when you start waving people out, you have just made a grave mistake. You know, you have possibly put them in harm's way. And, you know, you could be involved in the accident too. And I've heard a long time ago, I don't know how well it stands, I don't know how well it sticks, but that if it gets found out in the court of law where someone's been hit or someone's been killed because you waved them out in traffic, you could be called into question. You could be taken to task, your feet held to the fire. Now, I don't know how true that is or how often it happens, but just remember that you are responsible. Even if you drive off, you're going to have that on your conscience the rest of your life, that you wave someone out into traffic. That drives me crazy. I don't do it. I'm not a nice guy. I'm not a nice guy in traffic. The only time I wave people out is if conditions are safe and I can see that someone's wanting to turn right into the flow of traffic. But never wave anybody across traffic. Ever. Don't do it. It's just a horrible mistake, and someone's going to get killed. Don't be a nice guy. It's stupid. You're a moron. You're an idiot if you do that. And another thing I hate is when, and this goes along with the whole waving thing, is when and this is really more a complaint than anything else, when you come to a four-way stop where you have stop signs and you have someone on your right or someone on your left and you're both approaching, it's clear that you're going to stop first, which means you're going to go first. And the person hasn't even stopped at the stop sign. They haven't even stopped yet. And they're already waving you through like, no, go ahead and go. I'm like, you're a fool. You haven't even stopped yet. You know, that irritates me to death. First of all, I know how to drive. Second of all, I know when it's my turn. I don't need your help. So stop telling me when to go. I'll go when it's my proper turn. And if you're going to hesitate, I'm going to go anyway. All right. So stop being a nice guy. Don't wave people out into traffic, which brings me to my next point is don't give in to people waving you through out across traffic. If you're wanting to make the left-hand turn off of a side street and somebody stops and says, go ahead and go, don't do it. When people do it to me, I go, no, you go. Don't give in to that. All right. Which brings me to the next point, which is don't heed unsafe signaling. That's really what that's really all about, I guess, is people are signaling you unsafely with their hands. They could be doing it with their lights. They could be doing it with their flashers. That's what I mean. They could be doing their flashers. Sometimes it's not a hand wave. The only time you need to wave your hand is when somebody has let you out in safe conditions. They're being nice and everything's safe. And you wave to them as a way of saying thank you. You're acknowledging their courtesy. All right. So don't heed unsafe signaling. Don't cave in to pressure from others. This is what I tell my kids all the time. Listen, you know how I told you, when the light turns green, you proceed out, but you don't punch the gas. To some people, they think you should go full throttle as soon as that light turns green. And if you're not doing it, they're going to honk their horn at you. Don't cave in to pressure from others. Don't let others put you in unsafe conditions when they honk their horn, when they're cursing at you, when they're trying to get you to do something in whatever way, even if they look like they're asking nicely. Don't cave into that. You've got to set your own boundaries. You got to be your own boss. You got to look out for you. This is really important to do too. When you are driving along a road and you see that somebody wants to get out from the side and you're wondering if they see you and you're wondering if they're going to go out in front of you, do not pay attention to whether you think they see you or not. You know how many accidents have been caused and excuses been given to officers at the scene of a crash, and people say, "Well, I thought they saw me. They looked right at me." Do not look at people's faces to determine whether they saw you or not. And what you need to do is a real good tip. I learned this when I learned how to drive a motorcycle, is pay attention to the wheels for intention. If you want to find out what a person's intentions are, pay attention to their wheels when they're on a side street. If the wheels move, you kind of got to guess what they're going to be doing. Don't look at their face. They can be looking both ways, and you can think they're looking right at you, but look at their wheels for their true intention. If the wheels move, you need to be cautious. You need to be cautious anyway. You, of course, use your turn signals. People don't do that often enough. I hate it when I'm looking for an out, when I'm looking to get out into traffic, and I'm waiting for this person way up here, and there's no turn signals going, and they turn right by me. And I could have gone. And so that's more of an annoyance than anything else, but use your turn signals because it really is a safety factor. Stop using turn lanes as merge lanes. Stop using them as merge lanes. You know, when you're coming off a parkway, an interstate, or whatever, and you're trying to get out in normal traffic, and your lane that you're turning right on is actually turning into a turn lane, a right turn lane to get into something else. You're supposed to stop at a red light, right? Even on red, even at a turn, you can turn right on red in most cases. But you know, if your lane turns into a turn lane, it's not a merge lane. And if you speed up in those turn lanes to merge left, you're impeding traffic. You're endangering other drivers. So they have to make adjustments that are perhaps unsafe, and you're just a nuisance in traffic. Don't be a fool. Seems like I had another one, but I can't think of what it is at the moment. But these are the things that really annoy me. These are things that drive me absolutely nuts. Like I said, no pun intended, but they drive me absolutely nuts, and they endanger people. And you're going to live a lot longer if you follow these simple do's and don'ts. So mind your P's and Q's. Just take some advice from somebody who spends most of their life driving. And that's why I say it to you. That's why I advise you. Some people don't spend as much time on the road. They're not as cautious. But you know, you've got to be defensive. You've really got to be defensive. You got to take safety into your own hands. You're responsible for yourself. You're not responsible for anybody else. But if you feel like, hey, listen, I do feel somewhat responsible for other people, then just be safe yourself. If you take care of yourself, you're essentially taking care of other people. I know what it was. I know what it was now. Here's the last thing I was going to tell you. Was if you know that you have to make a right or left-hand turn, and you're driving in the flow of traffic, you know a left or right-hand turn is something you need to make in your line of travel here, and you don't know exactly where it's at, and you're looking for it, do not brake suddenly. Do not be afraid to go up and turn around. I hate it when people brake suddenly because they don't want to miss that turn. Be willing to take the miss and go. Just it's better to be safe and go, oh, there was my turn. I'm better off just going up a little bit further and turning off at the next street and turning around. That's what you need to do. Guys, that's about it for me. I feel like this has gone on way too long, but this is really important. These are the things I tell my own kids when they're learning how to drive. Some of it, I don't know. A lot of it's probably in a driver's manual, but people become complacent and they become careless. And there's a lot of other things I could say about texting, about eating behind the wheel, all those things, but I'm going to leave some of that for you guys. You tell me what irritates, annoys you, and tell me what you do to allay your frustration, and give me your tips. Because I'm not going to be the only one to look at these comments. A lot of other people are too, and this is just good stuff. I mean, my kids are going to watch this someday, hopefully, and take my advice, and they need to. And share this with your friends, will you? Because a lot of people need to see this. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. I have to go eat lunch, but please be safe out there, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.